This morning we're going to get a bit controversial. I'm going to talk about a very controversial topic. Are you being a responsible business owner? Today I'm going to focus on the things that you need to hear, not the things that you want to hear. And I mean this, and I literally mean this. Normally I would speak into the things that you want as a business owner, but these are things that you need to hear, particularly if 2024 has got off to like kind of a rocky start. You know, you haven't signed the clients that you want, you're not seeing the tractions that you want. I want you to connect with this and see, is this where you're operating from? And I'm also going to preface this by saying leadership is a huge part of business, okay? And by what I mean by that is it is up to you to be able to be the business owner who leads your business forward, and operate differently than you would if you were an employee, being an employee really, because you are now 100% responsible for your business. But what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing a lot of is people are not being responsible as business owners. They are waiting and hoping and wishing and wanting for someone to come rescue them. They want the penny to drop and not actually stand into that responsibility. And let me tell you this, when you step into, and I'm going to literally when you step into being responsible, rather than waiting and hoping and wishing and wanting for something to happen, you will see such a change in your business. Like, this has been a hot topic of conversation with my own clients. We always talk about it, but particularly in the last couple of weeks. And if you watch my stories and see the momentum that they're creating, like, I have one lady that I literally said to her yesterday, I was like, I would love to package you in terms of how she books discovery calls is insane. I have never seen a lady like it to book discovery calls, but she has stepped into her power. Like, she is so connected with her audience because she's leading herself, she's moving herself forward. She's constantly looking at, where am I being responsible? What's working? What's not working? Where do I get to shift? Where do I get to look inside of me to see where I get to go as a business owner so that I can have what I want? Because I know if it's to be, it's up to me. So what I'm going to share with you today, it might sting some people, and if it does, that's okay. That's okay, because you need to hear this. And this is where you truly get to operate from if you want to see the success. And let me tell you this, most of you know my story at this stage. But for anyone new who's tuning in, I'm Joanne O'Halloran. I'm a business mentor for coaches who want to be able to multiply their leads, multiply their clients, and ultimately multiply their income. Recurring income is what everybody wants. And I want you to have it too, because my stand is for women to be able to create abundance, freedom, and unconditional love through entrepreneurship. And people laugh at me when I say unconditional love, because they're like, well, how does that even fit in? It's from leadership. Because as you up level, as you start to be responsible, rather than sitting in stories or reasons or all the conditioning that you've been brought up with, that is when you start to love yourself so incredibly well. And when you love yourself, you're able to give to more people. But I really want to dive into this and share with you that, like, when I started my business in 2020, it was an absolute train wreck, right? I thought I was the fucking bee's knees. I thought I was going to have this down. I was like, it'll be piss easy to get clients. And yes, this is how I speak, right? And my honesty is why my clients love me, because they can't hide, they can't play small, plus we keep it real, right? We literally keep it real. But like 2020 was like a shit show for me. I signed one client. Like, I started my business in May, signed a client in September, and then there was nothing happening, people. But I also wasn't operating from being responsible. I was sitting in my ego. I was sitting in the everybody else says this is easy, therefore I don't actually have to put in the work. Bullshit, you do. And you have to up level your leadership and act from a place of responsibility, rather than, this is meant to just fall in my lap, right? Or why is it so hard? So I really do want you to hear this today. And like I said, if it stings, good, because it stung me in the best possible way, because it gave me a foot up the bum to be able to go and get underneath it and look at what was working, what wasn't working, and actually operate from a place of responsibility. So the first thing that I want you to understand is, as a business owner, you're in a position of privilege. How many people want to hear that? Nobody. Do you want to ever say I'm in a privileged position? Probably not, but that's the reality of the situation. As a business owner, it is a privilege to be a business owner. It is a privilege. We have an opportunity in front of us, not only to impact our own lives, but as a business owner, we have the most amazing opportunity to positively impact other people's lives. That is a privilege. If you're on here on social media with me, you're choosing to impact people's lives. So taking a step back from that, wanting to hide from that, wanting to sit behind your desk, wanting to hope that it'll fall on your laps is not being responsible. It's being very irresponsible, because there's people out there that need your services. There's people out there that are crying out for what you do. So it's really important that you start there and go, do you know what, I'm actually in a very privileged position. How am I going to use this privilege? Am I going to use it to support whatever it is that you do, whatever the niche is, to support other people to be able to get rest, get respite, get relief, whatever it is, right? Are you going to actually support them to do that, or are you going to make it all about you? So that's the first thing I want to say, is you are in a position of privilege and you have to accept that. Because if you don't accept that, then your business is never going to go anywhere, because you're not operating from like a balanced position and understanding the position that you're in. So yeah, does that sting a couple of people? Probably. But start there. Start there and ask yourself, am I living up to this responsibility? I was not. I was full of shit. I was not living up to that responsibility in 2020. Nope. I was all up in my head, all up in my ego, going, this is meant to be easy. Why? What? Per me. Why am I not getting clients? Per me. Why is nobody responding to my comments? Per me. Why is nobody messaging me? But who was I being in that? I was being selfish. I was being self-absorbed, and I was making it all about me. And I guarantee you that some of you are too. Again, I told you, this is going to be controversial. This is not me sitting here telling you what you want to hear. I'm here to tell you what you need to hear so that you can shift everything that is going on that isn't working for you in your business. The second thing then is, when it comes to actually being responsible as a business owner, yes, we're from your expenses, your taxes, all of that, 100% that's your responsibility, but it goes deeper than that. So you are the only person responsible for whether or not your business succeeds. The only person. Nobody else is. There's nobody. So therefore, you're responsible for the impact you make or the impact you don't make. You're responsible for the profit that you make or the profit that you don't make. But here's all the other things that you're responsible for that you may be operating irresponsibly with. So strategy, planning, decision making, leadership, selling. So if we look at those 5, how many of them are you operating from a place of responsibility? Or are you operating from a place of irresponsibility by making excuses as to why something isn't happening? So when it comes to planning and strategy, the best way that I would describe this, to operate from responsibility, is, do you have a strategy, like an actual strategy that you know will get results? If the answer is no, then you're being irresponsible. Have you planned out your month, your quarter, your year? If not, again, you're being irresponsible because you're winging it. So it isn't going to work for you. So keep thinking about this, am I operating from a place of responsibility, or am I actually being completely irresponsible and then feeling sorry for myself because nothing is working? Again, this was me, people. So I'm not talking about something that I don't know or that I haven't lived through. This is stuff that you need to hear if you really want to shift the needle in your business. But think about when it comes to selling. It's a skill that you need to learn. It's a skill. I always said I hated selling. I hated it. The thought of selling, the thought of asking somebody for something, never mind selling, the thought of asking somebody for something as in help, support, I was literally allergic. I was taught that is the worst thing that you could ever do. And in fact, you're a burden on somebody for asking them, and how dare you do that? So that was my mindset. So how the hell was I ever going to be able to sell? I wasn't. And I hear this from a lot of people too. So I know I'm not the only one that was brought up like this. But you've got to work on that mindset. So you have to choose that so that you can learn the skill of selling. Selling is just a skill. It is just a skill. There is components to it that you want to mesh together so that they work for you. But selling is just a skill. It is a skill that you can learn. But if you're not putting yourself in a position to learn it and you're not practicing it, you're not going to make sales. So therefore you're being irresponsible. So connect with this too. Then when it comes to profit in your business, are you just looking to just make money, or do you know what your business will look like to be profitable? Are you making decisions that will make your business profitable, or are you making decisions that are going to set you off on a tangent that isn't going to work for you? So I'll give you an example of a conversation that I had with a client yesterday, and it was around investing, right? It's what do you invest in? How do you know when to invest? How do you know where to go, what to do, etc., etc.? Brilliant question, right? It's a brilliant question. Everybody asks that question. And the thing you've got to remind yourself is that as a business owner, say if you had a product, you're going to have to invest anyway, because you're going to have to invest in the product, the creation of it, the production of it. So you're going to be in a minus for a while until you start seeing that return. Service providers need to think the exact same way. So you've got to be able to invest continuously to see the returns. But if you're looking for the returns to come back instantaneously, then you're still operating with that, well, if I do my job, I get paid, which is the employee mindset. That's not how it works. You've got to operate from the point of view as in, this is my long term, this is what I want to set myself up for. I want to be able to maintain and sustain my business, not just have it that I've cash coming in randomly to feed my ego so that I feel okay. And again, this is a shift that a lot of people feel uncomfortable with, and I get it. I get it because I did it too. Single parent, like when I started my business, single parent, COVID had hit. Literally, if I wasn't going to make it happen, who the hell was? There was nobody coming to rescue me. But these are things that I want you to tune into that will probably feel uncomfortable, and know that that's okay, because everybody that up levels and everybody that sees success in business goes through these. They literally go through them. You can't go around them. You cannot go around them. You can't like put up a ladder and just hop over it. There's no like diversion around it. You have to go through it. But everybody who sees success in business has gone through these exact things too. And let me give you an example. Every day I always set my intentions, right? So what is my intention for the day in terms of who I am, like, and how I'm showing up, and what are my declarations for this is what I'm going to make happen today. If I get to the end of the day and it hasn't happened, I'm responsible for that. There is no circumstance outside of me that is responsible for that. I am. So I will look at that and go, right, did I miss something? Was there somewhere that I wasn't willing to go inside of me? Like, did I avoid taking an action? Did I avoid having a conversation? Did I avoid using particular words to people? Was Netflix more important? I have had days like that where I'm just like, I'm on the Netflix train. Oh, look at that. I watched one program. Now I need to know what happens in the next one, and then the next one, and then, oh my goodness, the day is gone. I'll just forget about it and do it tomorrow, right? That's not being responsible, but I have done it, and I know lots of people have done it. But it's what you do with that. Are you willing to look at that and go, right, instead of beating yourself up, to go, okay, that didn't work for me. That was like a whole rabbit hole I went into, and here's the consequences of me doing that. Let me set myself up for success tomorrow and recommit. That is being responsible as a business owner. Being responsible isn't going, oh my God, I'm a piece of shit because I didn't follow through on what I said I was going to do. No, that's child's play. That is operating with a mindset that is never going to stand to you, and you don't need to be that way. So the next thing that I want to just say to you is that being responsible as a business owner isn't about taking responsibility. So that's what I was talking about there a second ago. When you are in that kind of beat up mode, you're in that taking responsibility. That doesn't work for you. There's nothing for you to take. There's nothing for you to take because your actions determine what the outcome is going to be. So if you are operating from a place of being responsible, it means that you're looking at, am I following my plan? Am I following my strategy? Well, first of all, do I have one? But then am I following my plan? Am I following my strategy? And am I following through on the commitments that I made and said I was going to do? And if not, then there's nothing to take responsibility for because you're already responsible for it. So understanding that and allowing yourself to look at that and go, okay, this worked today, this didn't work today. And doing that on a daily basis supports you with being responsible. Like, I'm going to say it again, this is absolutely controversial and I'm telling you today what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. If you want your 2024 to be different from your 2023, if you want your February to be different from your January, and if you are not seeing the results that you want, you are responsible. Nobody else is. There is nobody coming to rescue you. There is nobody coming to hand you your strategy on a silver platter. Even if you have a strategy, there's nobody coming to do it for you. You are 100% responsible for it. So my invitation for you today is to really look at this inside yourself and then inside your business and like, just be honest. Don't make it mean something about you. Don't decide that, you know, this isn't for you, that it's never going to work. I can't do this. Like, don't get into that because that's not being responsible. But really look at it and go, and be honest. Be as honest as you can with yourself and go, am I really operating from a place of being responsible for my business? Or am I really hoping that somebody is just going to hand me the answer? And just be honest with yourself. Look at it and then go, okay, if I'm not being responsible, If there's decisions I haven't made, if there's actions I haven't taken, and if I've made up reasons, excuses, or rationale for why it hasn't happened, choose to accept that you haven't been operating from a place of responsibility up until now. It doesn't mean that you can't going forward. It just means up until now. And that's what hasn't been working for you. Choose different right now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Once you have this awareness and once you have this realization, choose different. It starts with choosing you. And then you choose your decisions from there. But the decisions that you choose come from you. They come from you. They don't come from anyone else. So like I said, when I wasn't making money in my business, it wasn't external circumstances that created that. That was me. If something doesn't happen the way I want it to in my business, it is not external circumstances. It is me. If I don't sign clients in a given week, that is not external circumstances. That is me. If my business doesn't hit the cash flow that I wanted to this month, that isn't external circumstances. This is me. If I make an investment and it doesn't create the results that I wanted, it is not the external circumstances, nor is it the investment I made. It is me. It is me. So check in with yourself, connect with yourself, and see, are you operating from a place of responsibility? And if you're not, accept that you haven't been up until now, and then choose differently. So that is my message for you today. Like I said, if it stings, that is okay. That is okay. Some of us need to hear things in different ways for it to make sense. A literal gunshot just went off outside. This is what happens when you're in the country. But I want you to check in with that within yourself today and see what comes up for you. Remember, you're not right, you're not wrong. It doesn't mean you're a bad person, but just connect with yourself and see what comes up. All right, have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you soon.